started out your own career?
Oh, I started out actually in high school. I was working small clubs, you know, what we used to call cocktail lounges, you know, go in and have a couple of beers, have something to eat, whatever. And that's where I really started. We was playing like the top pop songs of the day. Stardust, Blue Moon, anything that was quite famous at that time period. That's where I really first got started.
How did you get in contact with Elvis Presley?
Well, I was working a hayride, Louisiana hayride, just as a staff on Saturday nights. I would just happen to be there, and they called me in on a Monday, and they said, come down here, I want you to listen to this record. So we're going to have this kid in here this week, see what you think. And it was the Sun record, you know, and I said, I got to listen to it. I said, man, it sounded like about 5 or 6 people there. 3 guys. I said, boy, that's really good. So when they come in, Scotty said, hey, would you work with us tonight? I said, yeah, let's go back to the dressing room, we'll talk about it, you know. So we went back and I said, yeah, we could do that. So I said, well, the best thing to do, you know, that old Sun record was so unique to sound. I said, I'll just get out of the way, don't play any loud noises. So I guess they liked it, I don't know. And they come back a couple times later, say, hey, you want to work again? Yeah, I'll work again. Just kind of by accident, you know. They said, well, we're going to go to Texas 3 or 4 days. You want to go? I said, yeah, I'll go, you know. Got through with that, and he got ready to leave. He said, well, we're going to go back home to Memphis. Now, we don't have any kind of shows at all, but if I ever do, you want to work some more? I said, yeah. About a week later, they called. They had a whole bunch of dates by then, and the records were getting popular. So I stayed since then.
Can you remember your first impression of Elvis Presley?
Well, I thought he dressed funny, and which he did. I mean, for that time period, you know, he was the only one that I ever seen, you know, dressed, you know, well. I've seen the peg pants, but he matched colors like you wouldn't believe: orange, red, greens, blacks. But it looked good on him. It really looked good on him. Now on us, it wouldn't look too good, you know.
You think it looked good on him because he was famous, or
no? He wasn't famous at the time. He was just a kid. You know, he wasn't famous, but the colors all looked good on him. You know, just I don't know why.
Did you ever ask him about his clothes?
No. I saw what they were, and I thought they were, you know, for that time period, pretty sharp actually. So a little bit while later, I got me some peg pants, and you know, got along with the program.
How much influence did you have on the music Elvis played at that time?
Oh, I don't know if any of us had a lot of influence. He would take your suggestions. Anything you wanted to do, he'd say, go ahead and do it. He didn't want to restrict you, you know. Just play it. If we don't like it, we'll change it. We'll do another cut. You know, but if you got any ideas, let it. We'll all work it out, and that's how we did it. There's no music written out, just up here. And we all had to think about what we was going to do, so it works out better like that.
At that time, did you have any idea that you were changing the way of people were looking at music?
No. You know, it's when you're doing something like that, that's for everybody. Himself, Scotty, Bill, me. We said, well, it's a job, and it's better than out there in the cotton field picking cotton. We don't want to do that. So we wanted, you know, we wanted him to become a star if he would, but you never know who's going to become a star. You can't put your finger on it, but we all worked hard, you know, to help him out. He helped us. We had a good time doing it, actually.
Did Elvis have faith about being a star? Did he believe that he would be a star someday?
I don't think he ever thought. He didn't even realize what he was doing. He was just a young boy, and he knew he was getting popular, you know. But I'm not sure if he thought about it like that. Now we knew it because we'd watched the people. We watched the crowds get bigger and bigger and bigger, and most of the time, as soon as he get through that stage, he was gone, you know. So he didn't get a chance to talk to the people a lot, and we did.
Were you driving together with Elvis, or did he only drive with his bodyguards? Or?
No. Back then, we didn't have no bodyguards. We were it. We all drove in one car, bass, drums, everything in one car. Elvis, Scotty, Bill, and sometimes he had his cousin Gene or Billy or Red Wester. So we had a car full of people. We only had one small car. But that was okay. We had a good time.
Was he a talking person or was he a
No,
person?
he didn't talk a lot. He was shy, basically. We didn't want him to talk a lot.
Why not?
He wanted to keep you up all night. So we try to get him to sleep early, because we had to drive like 500 miles, 600 miles, and so you go to bed, and when you wake up, we'll be there, you know. So we took turns driving. Now he was a good driver, and sometimes he said, "Well, I'll drive." Well, you drive for a while. We split it up. What we tried to do is drive 2 or 3 hours at a time. That way you don't get road fatigue. And I'd drive a while, Sky, Bill. We let Elvis drive about daylight in the morning. So you drive, when you get tired, pull over, we all start again. By that time you've had, basically 5, 6, 7 hours sleep, so you're all right.
But at that time he didn't have this, what can you call it, a special way of living his life on, sleeping at daytime and be awake at night.
No, we had to sleep when we could. We was driving cars, one car. It wasn't no special way, just you slept when you could. And if we got in town in time, take an hour nap, we'd all lay down, take an hour nap, right to the place and do that job, get back in the car and drive another 500, 600 miles. There's no schedule. You just, whatever you could, you took a nap.
Did you ever meet Elvis's mother, Gladys?
Oh yeah, yes. Very nice lady. Yeah. One of the nicest ladies I ever met. She's just humble. She couldn't do enough for you when you went to the house, and make sure you guys take care of Elvis. I said, who's going to take care of us? But she'd always say that. You guys take care of Elvis. Okay.
Do you think she was nervous about the way Elvis was going with his career?
She was always afraid something's going to happen to him. We called her about every hour. And we'd go down the road. We hadn't been going from Memphis maybe an hour. Stop over here. For what? We got to go. We got 500 miles, 600 miles. Got to call my mama. He'd call her. Go down the road, stop. For what now? Got to call my mother. He did that all the time.
Do you think she would have wished Elvis to be a driver or a
I think she
or...
wanted him to do something else. She thought that showbiz was a hectic life. She never did quite understand it. They as he got bigger, they loved the money, but she wasn't a money person. She wanted Elvis home.
She was used to a humble home.
So the old man, Mr. Presley, he was okay about it. Oh, go out and do it. Go out and do it. She really didn't like it.
Were you around Elvis when his mother died, or did you not see him when he was into the army?
Yeah, no, I saw him. Yeah. I didn't go to the army with him, but when his mother died, I flew up the next day.
You were with him at the funeral?
Yeah, well, for one day. Then I had to fly out late that night because I had to go to Virginia the next morning. So I stayed for the wake, and the people coming through the, and all, just people coming in and out of the house. And stayed for that, and I left.
Do you think her death had something to do with Elvis' special way of treating girls in the future?
No, I don't think that, because if that was the case, because he treated his mother with all the respect in the world. So, in fact, if he treated his girls the same way, they were living pretty good, because he loved his mother, and she couldn't do any wrong. If his mother told him, "This is the way we got to do it," he didn't question nobody. He said, "Mama said we do it this way." He'd do it that way.
But he was not so happy for his father, Vernon, in the same way he was for his mother.
No. Him and his mother were close. He loved his dad, and they were close, but not like the mama, no.
And they never been close in his whole sorry. But they never become very close in his life.
Not as his mother, no. The mother was always the one closest to him.
Do you think Elvis had anybody he really trusted around him, or was he much alone in his...
Well, he had a lot of people around him. Now, whether he trusted them or not, I don't know. Maybe he acted like he did, I don't know. But Elvis was smarter than a lot of people give him credit. He knew what everybody was doing in that entourage. He knew every move they ever made. And because he'd tell us sometimes, say, "Watch so-and-so over there." Watch him over there. He said, he'll do something in a minute. And he would, whatever, you know. But he was wise to them. He knew what they were doing.
Many have called Elvis naive. Do you think he was naive?
Yeah, I think he was. He was just a big, overgrown kid. Up until he passed away, he laughed all the time, had a good time. He didn't care about money, not really. He just always had a good time.
Tom Jones, you know, the singer, just said in an interview here for 14 days ago that he think Elvis pulled people away in his last year, Tom inclusive, because he still wanted them to believe in him as Elvis Presley the way he was before.
I don't know. See, I don't know.
You didn't see any of that?
No, I didn't see it. You know, when I was talking to him, he might have run into Tom later on. I don't know. Up in the 70s, you know. So I wasn't there. I can't really comment on that.
No, that was just.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't comment on it because I wasn't there.
You worked with Elvis through his film career.
Yeah.
How was it?
Oh, it was fun. You know, the pictures got to be old hat. I think the first 2 or 3 pictures he done was really good. You know, the King Creole, Loving You, and something like that. That was really good stuff. After a while, it got to same stories, different females, different fights. You know, different guys to fight with. The tunes well, they were bad. You know, he knew that. But the Colonel said, "Do them, Elvis." Okay, I'll do them. I think he should have said, no, I don't want to do them. You know, let's find some more material, but he wouldn't do it.
But of course, he earned a lot of money and...
Well, that was a Colonel. You know, the contracts were signed, we got to do this. But I think if Elvis would have said, no, Colonel, we're not going to do this, well, he'd have changed his mind. He'd got some new scripts, better scripts. Elvis said, well, yeah, we'll do it. Okay, Colonel, we'll just do it. He never would go up against him. I don't know why.
Have you ever heard Elvis complain about the Colonel taking so many % of the money?
No.
You know, the Colonel lost a suit in court, the right to own.
Like I say, Elvis didn't know about money. He didn't care about money. He figured, well, the Colonel got 50%, 30%, whatever. He deserved it. That's the way he thought.
It was his father, Werner, who was taking care of the money.
Well, yeah, they had bookkeepers and accountants. So. Now, Colonel, the old man couldn't have kept up with that. Too much money coming in from every angle. That would have really threw him. You know, he would have got lost. You can't do that. You got to have somebody that better know what they're doing.
And the Colonel was the right person.
Yeah, well, and of course there's accountants, bookkeepers. And you better have somebody who knows what they're doing.
How did you start out your own career?
Oh, I started out actually in high school. I was working small clubs, you know, what we used to call cocktail lounges, you know, go in and have a couple of beers, have something to eat, whatever. And that's where I really started. We was playing like the top pop songs of the day. Stardust, Blue Moon, anything that was quite famous at that time period. That's where I really first got started.
How did you get in contact with Elvis Presley?
Well, I was working a hayride, Louisiana hayride, just as staff on Saturday nights. I would just happen to be there, and they called me in on a Monday, and they said, "Come down here. I want you to listen to this record." So we're gonna have this kid in here this week. See what you think. And it was the Sun record, you know. And I said, I got to listen to it. I said, man, it sounded like about 5 or 6 people there. 3 guys. I said, boy, that's really good. So when they come in, Scotty said, hey, would you work with us tonight? Yeah, let's go back to the dressing room. We'll talk about it, you know. So we went back, and I said, yeah, we could do that. So I said, well, the best thing to do, you know, that old Sun record was so unique, the sound. I said, I'll just get out of the way. Don't play any loud noises. So I guess they liked it. I don't know. And they come back a couple times later. Say, hey, you want to work again? Yeah, I'll work again. Just kind of by accident. And they said, well, we're going to go to Texas 3 or 4 days. You want to go? I said, yeah, I'll go, you know. Got through with that, and he got ready to leave. He said, well, we're going to go back home to Memphis. Now, we don't have any kind of shows at all. But if I ever do, you want to work some more? I said, yeah. About a week later, they called. They had a whole bunch of dates by then. And the records were getting popular. So I stayed since then.
Have you ever heard about the situation when his secretary Elizabeth left with Rex?
With who?
Elizabeth left with Rex, his soldier friend.
I never heard about that one.
I don't want to.
That might have been later after I left. I don't know. I didn't hang around there like those other guys. I didn't live there. I get through what we have to do and I go home.
In '68 you made a TV special together with Elvis. Do you remember anything from that period?
Well, no, I thought that was one of the better shows we've ever done. We had more time actually, and I think the thing in the round, we did with the black suit, still to this day it's a classic. I don't know if we could, anybody could ever top that or not. It was awfully good.
Did anyone expect that at that time, or did they just think about it as a normal television appearance?
I think that's what they thought. The producer and all those guys, that's what he wanted. He wanted it relaxed. What he said was, what I need, guys, is like you're sitting around in the living room. You don't have any script, you don't have anything to worry about. Just do what you want to do, and we'll film it. When we get tired, we'll cut the cameras off. And that's what they did. No dialogue, no nothing. Just whatever you want to do, do it.
After '68, you didn't perform with Elvis any longer. Why?
Well, they called. He's going to open up in Vegas. And I really didn't want to do that. I'd been on the road with him and other people already for 20 years. So I was in Nashville. I wanted to become record with everybody. And that's what I did, actually. Scotty had a studio, and he was busy. The Jordanaires were busy, and we just were working around the clock, actually. And to do that, we'd had to have been going 8 or 10 weeks. And when you get back to Nashville, that's like starting all over again. I said, well, I don't want to do that. I was getting in pretty good, working with other people. And that's what I want to do. I had a couple kids by the end. I said, I better stay home. My wife was getting gripey, You know how wives get. I was gone all the time. She had to raise the kids. But it's hard. It's really hard for her. So I said, well, I better stay home for a while. I told him that. He said, I don't blame you. So if I could do that, I would do that.
If you should have given a good advice for Elvis, he toured from '69 until his death. Should he have stopped before?
I think so, yeah. I think he should have stopped right after '68. When he got the be a big artist again, and release records and albums, whatever, CDs, and then take a rest. After the movies and the TV show, he needed to take off 3 or 4 years. He had plenty of money, he didn't have to work, So I think he should have took off for a little bit.
He should perhaps have done in the way his big fan Bruce Springsteen do it today, make few but big concerts.
Big concerts, quit, go back, big concert, quit. That's what it. A lot of them do that now because they make so much money on those concerts, But that's what he should have done. But he loved the audience. And sometimes he'd be sitting around the house and say, I think I'll go back on the road. Call Colonel, book so-and-so and so-and-so. We'll go back out. And then when he got to the 70s, he had the big orchestra and strings. And it's a lot of, it's like moving an army, really, when you get that big.
Was he boring? Was it because he was boring? He was.
Yeah, I think he got bored sitting around the house after a little bit. How much can you do? Sitting in a room, sitting in a big house on the hill up there. He'd go to Hawaii every now and then and kill some time. But that gets old. Everything gets old. But when he was out in front of a crowd, he was always refreshed and new. He loved to get out there and see him smile, laugh, have a good time. So he had a good time.
But didn't he have any hobbies like golf or?
No, he didn't play golf that I know of. He stayed mostly at the house, around Grayson when he was home. Oh, he had those go-karts and stuff, and he had horses and stuff. But I guess, after 20, 30 years, that probably gets old too. It wouldn't be for me. And I don't know. I thought a million times, I said, why don't he put an old cowboy hat on, some old cowboy boots and stuff, and he could, get a pickup truck and go out the back gate. Nobody know who it was. I don't know. You never know what those guys think sometimes. He'd have probably still been with us had he just got away. And leave all the crowd alone. Don't bring nobody with him. Just go out by himself. think he enjoyed that.
Do you have any idea why he was divorcing Priscilla at 73?
Who knows? Nah, who knows? Nobody knows for sure, except him and her. She's not going to tell you. He can't tell you, so, you know, I don't care who you are. You're married, and you may be married for 30 years, and all of a sudden, you know, the marriage kind of...
They're grown apart from each other.
Yeah, it falls apart. You don't know why. But, you know, people do that every day. But when he did it, that was a big deal, you know. But I got a divorce, and nobody knew it, nobody cared.
But it seems like he was falling apart after 1973 when he got the divorce from Priscilla.
Yeah.
Like he lost something big in his life.
That was big for him. Nobody had ever left Elvis, you know. And I think to this day, now I'm just assuming this on my own, that he still loved her, and she loved him, but they couldn't get together, you know. And but I talked to a couple of guys, said when he, you know, felt like he was in trouble, he'd call her on the phone in the middle of the night. They'd talk for hours. So they're actually still good friends.
So she was perhaps one of his closest friends.
Oh, sure. No,
in the private matter.
Yeah. Well, he knew her when she was 15 years old, you know. She grew up, you know, to a beautiful lady, so I still like her. I see her every now and then. She's just as nice as she could be. So I like her. A lot of the fans don't like her, but I like her.
I think she's a very nice lady.
She is. She's as nice as she could be.
Yeah. When were you? When was the last time you saw Elvis alive?
I don't know what year it was. I left in '68, I could tell you. But then I'd go by there and see him. Usually around the holidays. I wouldn't go around Christmas, because I'd go down to Louisiana and spend a month down there, you know, with my family. And I'd come up like in January, after he had his Christmas and everybody's gone, you know. Then I'd go by there and spend 4, 5, 6 hours. So, well, going back to Nashville. Okay, see you when you come back through, you know, okay, that's fine.
Did you see any changes of Elvis in his... I know he was getting fat and that kind of, or bigger, but in his his
thinking. No, when I was going back and forth.
In his behavior, I think.
It got a little bit later, you know, when he got into that, I guess. Then I didn't see him after a little while, you know, at all. Because I read in the paper, he was sick, he was in the hospital. You know, you read in the papers and you say, well, you don't want nobody to come and visit if you're not feeling good. So I just quit going by there. I said, well, if I see him in the studio, I go by, he used to come to Nashville, I'd go by and see him at the studios, you know. And we'd sit around and talk for an hour or so. I said, well, see you next time around, okay. You know, it's always nice.
Many people have wondering if Elvis was the boss with all those guys around him. Did he have the power to choose what to do and what not to do?
Yeah, he had all the power. Yeah, he could fire and hire and do whatever he wanted to do.
Until the last time.
Well, then he wouldn't. He'd fire him today and call him back tomorrow, and never stayed away too long. You know, he felt sorry for all the guys. Even some of the guys got married and had kids and everything, and they said that's okay. We'll take care of everybody, and they did. So he was pretty loyal to those guys, you know.
Do you remember, can you tell us about a funny moment you had with Elvis? Something special you have seen?
Well, you know, we did a lot of funny things. When it wasn't funny, I don't know what you call it. But he was always laughing. He laughed at anything you told him, he'd laugh at you, you know. He didn't care what it was. You know? My mama died, you know. He had that sense of humor. And we were sitting there one day, and I don't know, somebody said something. He's at the dinner table, and he just fell over. The whole chair just fell over. And he laughed. He was rolling on the floor. He laughed so hard. I'm trying to think of what was it all about now. Something come up, and all of a sudden he just fell out of the chair laughing. When Elvis laughed, he laughed. He couldn't quit. I heard on that one record where he laughed, something tickled him, and he never could quit.
Do you think he was a very happy person in that way?
When he was on stage, he was. Yeah, I think he was real happy. But he'd get off stage sometimes, even in his younger days. If he was in a bad mood, he'd go in the dressing room and sit. You know? But I think most of those artists are like that. You know, they got kind of a split personality, and they get tired and they get irritable at something or the sound or whatever. Instead of saying anything, he'd just go to the room, you know. And we knew that. Me and Scotty and Bill did. Because we were there, you know, 24 hours a day. And he'd get off stage and he'd disappear. And we said, uh-oh, Elvis is in a bad mood. Leave him alone. So he'd go back to the room. We just let him go. Sometimes we'd stay in town a couple of days. Wouldn't see him for a couple of days. Order his meals in, everything. A couple of days later, he'd come, okay, guys, what happened? Let's go. He was ready. Like nothing happened, you know. So he just, sometimes he'd get in the mood, so we knew better and leave him alone.
Was he a sensitive guy?
Yeah. At least the thing hurt his feelings. I don't care what it was. It hurt his feelings bad. So we you know, we were careful not to hurt his feelings, of course, you know. But like I say, he's just happy-go-lucky most of the time.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.